Hello, everybody, and welcome to this presentation of the ECL Elite Division right here on Sports Gamer. My name is Tukey, joined as always by my broadcast partner, Mr. Sin, for the win. And Sin, today we continue onward with the opening round matchups here in the postseason. And we get to kick things off with Granit Gaming versus SAWO, the battle of 2 versus 7. Yet it is the 7th seed in Granit that has that 2-0 lead.
Yeah, I mean, on our Monday broadcast, we really saw Granit be able to take SAWO's game and kind of flip it on its head, and that's a big reason they have that 2-0 lead here. They won, I think, both games by a score of 2-1, or maybe one was 3-2. Either way, it was 2 one-goal games that Granit Gaming was able to kind of stave off the attack of SAWO, defend extremely well, as we saw SAWO do throughout the course of the regular season, and get those big goals when they needed them.
Absolutely. Again, it's been a very interesting postseason so far. Let's get you guys a look at the bracket to get you all caught up. Of course, we have been able to cover the action here over the last 2 days, and today could be the final day of the opening round. Thursday is only required if we were to have a series go beyond 4 games. And so far, well, we've seen our number 1 seed and defending champions in H-Reds sweep the 8th seeded Goons. Those games played off broadcast yesterday and were live streamed on the club's personal channels. But regardless now, again, we talked about it. It is Granit taking on SAWO in our opening matchup of the day. The 2-seed SAWO desperately looking to get this series back under control. And of course, a little bit later on as well, El Clasico continues. It is for Lunda and Havu. For Lunda winning the first 2 games of that series. We'll also be keeping an eye on Färjestad and IQ as well. Sin, any surprises out of the results that we've seen so far?
Yeah, I kind of thought at least starting off the Frölunda and Havu series would be a bit closer. I mean, by the scoreline, though, it was pretty close. I didn't get a chance to watch the matchup, unfortunately, but I thought that one could have easily been a split. But I mean, between those two teams, oftentimes back and forth, we've seen a 3-1 series lead evaporate, and it can get incredibly interesting. Other than that, I mean, I also think, Färjestad being up top 2-0 against IQ, with the season IQ had, they really struggling to score against Färjestad there, which is, I mean, maybe a little bit surprising, but, I mean, Mick Saban always seems to step up in the playoffs as well, so.
Absolutely. So again, those matchups, at least the remaining 3, we'll continue to keep an eye on today. Like I said, it all leads potentially to tomorrow, of course, as we'll wrap up any series that are continuing at that point. Of course, as well, we always want to give attention to our other divisions, especially our pro division, for the implications that it has on our elite season heading into our spring season coming up not all that long from now. And Sin, of course, while we haven't been able to get the same amount of coverage that we were looking for, this is the current situation. And yesterday, Sin, while you weren't here, I was able to talk about the fact that Reality Check and Yippee Voskala were down 2-0 in their series. Not so much anymore.
No, and I mean, Yippee Voskal has definitely got a chip on their shoulder, trying to make their way back to the elite since they're, and unceremoniously relegated after just a few seasons ago. As we love to bring up, they were the top seed who unfortunately suffered one of those upsets in the playoffs.
And that really is what kind of brings us to this matchup here today to kick off this broadcast, because the comparison with Yippee Voskala is kind of there right now for SAWO. As you see the stats from the first 2 games, Sin, all things considered, I mean, relatively close, but at the end of the day, again, for SAWO, 2 goals in 2 games is simply not good enough and not what we would have expected from them.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. They had the 3rd most goals for per game in the regular season. They had 85, and they were the best defensive team. And it sort of seems like Granit, as we said, have kind of been able to just shut down anything that SAWO wants to do, and they're able to score enough against Nikkei. But I think what the key right now for Granit Gaming is the way they're able to defend, and they're essentially, like I said, taking SAWO's game. They're clogging up that slot. They're not allowing that counterattack, even though they're activating Furion and Lehmanns extraordinarily well. They're always having at least 2 guys back and 1 guy fiercely back checking it. Like, it's so far, Granit has played a near perfect series, and for SAWO to get back into it, they're going to have to study the game tape from those last 2 games, try to find the weaknesses in Granit Gaming, because, there's always something there, a gap, a hole, something to be able to exploit. And if you're a good enough team, you can always find it.
With that, let's get you guys a look at the lineups here tonight. Of course, they are the six that you would expect to see for both sides. For Granite Gaming, Eking, Zovi, and Antonio Manon Furion. And Captain Layman's on defense. Roysto between the pipes, who again has taken over as their starter, with Toomborg being on the bench. On the other side for SAWO Esports, Yerska, Moja, and Avatu. Captain Tombu alongside Wenger on defense. And of course, Nike and Sim, we'll get to talking about him and, of course, the season he's had. But as we always do, we'll start off with that center comparison. Zovi and Moja, two very capable scorers in the regular season. And so far as well in the playoffs, not that bad. But of course, right now, the big face-off advantage in favor of Zovi.
Yeah, Zovi has that face-off advantage, and not only that, he is a clutch goal scorer. He actually was tied for 5th in the regular season with for the most game winners with 8, and he's continuing that here in the playoffs. So, I mean, in those clutch situations, it's got to be all eyes on Zovi. He seems to be able to come up with big goals and big plays when his team needs it the most. 3 points in those 2 games played, obviously really good. The stat differential, it's not going to be too big in these 2 games played. Obviously, Moja doing what he needs to do to try to keep his team in it, but I really think it's going to come down to that kind of face-off battle, especially in those offensive and defensive zones.
Absolutely. Now, of course, we move over to the winger battle here next. And again, another interesting matchup here. A lot of talent on these two sides. But again, the story right now, despite the fact that Antonio Manon has yet to record a point, the story right now is, of course, again, the SAWO duo. Just 1 point each. And again, for Vatu, just 1 shot. It's been a very slow start for them in this series.
It absolutely has, and I'd say Vatu had about 3 more attempts that he tried to put on net that were simply being snuffed out by the defense, and that's a 5-man defensive commitment that was happening from Granite right now. Yeah, Antonio would like to get on the board, but he's done a really good job with his two-way play, and when you have a winger being one of your best two-way players, that's obviously a huge boon, and he's had some good chances on net. He's made some good plays. The points will come here in the playoffs. What they want to focus on there, for that team effort is continuing to play like they did and be able to shut down what SAWO wants to do. And that's especially on the counterattack, which, again, they've done a great job of so far, especially with the 2 defensemen who love to pinch.
The defensemen, I mean, you mentioned them here, and let's take a look at the 4. Again, for Granite Gaming, it is Furion, and again, Captain Layman's Tombu and Wenger on the other side. It's been a pretty impressive start for the SAWO duo, not so much in terms of points, but when we were calling those first 2 games, and they really stood out in terms of just trying to get the offense going for their team.
They absolutely did. And I mean, on the flip side for SAWO is you see Wenger there with the 2 points. It seems like we are always kind of calling his name out. He was always trying to activate, trying to get something going for SAWO, helping to spark his team. It just didn't come together. And you mentioned it, Furion and Laymanens, they were constantly doing that. Furion loves kind of a give and go play with Ekin. Like Ekin, he'll send it down low to Ekin, who kicks it back up, and immediately Furion will sort of drive down those boards trying to get it back in low, look for an in-tight one-timer, and Laymanen's kind of more of almost a sustained attacker. He'll join the rush and he'll stay down low, almost playing as a forward for their time in that zone. And when you have, again, someone like Antonio on that right wing side, or, someone as good as Zovi to cover you on the point as well, really easy for him to be able to do that. So that right now is kind of the advantage I see from Granite. It's just the flexibility of how good they are at the two-way game all over their lineup.
Our last matchup here, Sid, of course, that we look at it is the battle of the goaltenders. And Nike is coming off of one of the best regular seasons that we have seen in recent memory, if not the best regular season we have ever seen from a goaltender in our time here with the ECL. But what a start to this series it was for Roysto.
Yeah, Roysto. Essentially, these 2 stats were nearly flipped, at least save percentage-wise, from what they were in the regular season. Roysto was around that 80%, and obviously Nike almost had a 90%. Here again, it's kind of been flipped on its head, but Roysto has been solid. The team defense has been great for Granite, but Roysto has made big saves, and he's made a lot of saves in clusters. When SAWO gets desperate, they start putting the pucks on, looking for rebounds. They get 2 or 3 shots, and he's just turning them away, one after another. That's absolutely massive, and something that's a huge momentum changer for his team. When you can keep out those goals that are perhaps expected to go in on on most occasions, you're doing a very good job. And Nikkei is doing exactly what he needs to do. All the stats are there. We say that 80% marks what you shoot for, 2 goals against per game. Not too bad. He just needs that goal support. And I think we can expect a big game out of him.
So again, we are just a few moments away from puck drop as we look to continue this series between Granite Gaming and SAWO Esports. Again, a little bit later on, it is Havu taking on Frölunda. Again, a 2-0 series lead for Frölunda in that one as we continue, Sin, to move on into the playoffs here. Again, it is quarterfinals week. As crazy as that is, of course, it was a 5-week regular season. Doesn't feel like it at all. And now,
Mhm.
before you know it, again, this all leads up to the beginning of March. Again, March 4th and 5th, if I am not mistaken, in terms of the championship final. And of course, sportsgamer.gg has all the information that you need to follow along in order to get caught up, of course, with the Elite Division. And of course, not just the Elite Division, our lower divisions as well. Of course, we talked about the pro coverage that we will, of course, look to continue on with, because I mean, Sin, again, it's one of those big things, right? Like, while we look at the playoffs, we're still waiting to see who those teams will play that finished in the relegation spots for this year as
Mhm.
well. I mean, again, I mentioned it before, this being our winter season in the new split season format. Our spring season will be here before you know it. We don't know all the teams that'll be there yet, though, and I think that's still going to be very exciting to see how many of these teams will be able to hold on to their spot, or how many new teams we might have from pro heading into next year. But in terms of the playoffs now, again, so much for these teams to play for individually, but at the same time, I mean, again, you could just, boil it down to its basic elements. Like, you move on, you make it to the semifinals, you get a little bit of cash as well. And of course, we've talked about the prize pool that is out there as you get a look at it. I mean, again, just for making the final four, 1,200, 1,250 euros. I mean, that's no small chunk of change just for making the quarterfinal.
No, it absolutely isn't. And not only that, it's you kind of get that carry effect. You kind of take that momentum with you into the next season, and try to do better, do a little bit better. And that's the thing. When you talked about some of those teams that will perhaps face that relegation, there's always something to play for, and for those pro teams as well. With the way the seasons are sort of split, they have a chance in that spring season to get towards some of that same thing. You think back to Goons making the elite division from pro, get that 5th seed. Unfortunately, they do get eliminated in that first round, but it's the potential is there to kind of jump on the scene quickly, and all of a sudden your presence is known.
So again, we are just a few moments away, regardless of whether or not anyone thinks we're talking too much. Moberg, I'm calling you out, son. We set the stage. We give you the information. Who wants to watch random sixes where you don't know anything about anybody? Nobody. And nobody sets the stage like us. Deal with it. Sid, my sassiness aside, there you go. The teams are in the lobby, which is why I had to ultimately be sassy. And of course, in terms of the player build, surprise, surprise, what else are we going to see aside from playmakers, puck moving defensemen with the lead edges? It is the metas we've talked about all season long.
Yeah. I mean, it's still that puck possession style in Europe that they heavily favor. Again, we are seeing a bit more of the bumps and a bit more of the dump and chase, a lot more shots from the points and deflection opportunities than we've seen before. Less of kind of the neutral zone battle that would kind of honestly, like clockwork. The first 10 minutes of the game would be those teams feeling each other out. That does still happen from time to time, but there's a lot more explosiveness that kind of comes out. And I think if SAWO are really going to look to get ahead in this one, they got to, from the opening puck drop, they're going to have to be throwing different things at Granite, not allowing them to get comfortable and shutting them out of where they want to get to.
Good note as well. There was one person who did not have elite edges. That was Antonio Mannon, rocking gold magnetic in this particular matchup. Not overly surprising with the behind the net passing style that Granite tried to implement. Granted, it is a common tactic in the elite division, but looking for those extra pickups. We'll see if it works out. Again, Antonio Mannon without a point so far in this series for the first 2 games, yet his team has a 2-0 series lead. Huge moment here for SAWO. We will see if they can get back into the series, or if it will be a 3-0 series lead for our 7th seed in Granite, as an early chance there. Of course, SAWO in the home of black and yellow, Granite in their road whites, as we get the action underway. Again, game number 3, this quarterfinal matchup, it is underway. As we see a mistimed dump and chase, and Sin intrigued to see just how much Granit might look to do that with how well SAWO has patrolled the blue line at times in this series.
Yeah, it definitely seems like something that should be an option, as they do love that down low cycle. The quick pass out from behind the net, bit of an errant pass from Lehman, and so will create a chance for SAWO to get their own cycle going.
Sierska and Tombo who are there. Antonio Manin finds the puck, trying to walk his way through. Lehman's jumping into the play on the net drive, and Antonio Manin throwing it on net from the corner, forcing a save from Nike.
Yeah, and you see that all the time for Lehman. It's when he gets in there on the rush, he immediately usually commits to the rush. He's going to follow that play up, will not give up on the puck, as you saw there. Got that follow-up opportunity after Antonio had it poked off his stick.
Again, here is SAWO. It is Avatu in front, and fortunately for Yerska, I think he was just a little bit too close to Roysto. Didn't allow him to get the puck. D to D, Wenger faking that slap shot at the point and sends it back down the boards. Again, kick back to the point. Let's see what Wenger can do. Has to go back down low one more time. SAWO being held to the outside here. That shot on, forcing a glove save from Roysto through the traffic. And another shot, this one blocked down. Great job there by Moja to win it back. SAWO firmly entrenched in the offensive zone. See what Yerska can do. Again, he goes back to the point with Tombu. Right back down the boards. They're looking for that opening, Sin. We'll see if they can find it. Tombu, Yerska tried to throw it into the slot. Yerska gets it right back, though. Incredible possession time here for SAWO here in the first period. Vatu's pass off the mark. Tombu keeps it in. Yerska's pass over to the point does not work out. Here comes Granit, although immediately stifled. Not much they could really do there. Impressive defense on display, but again, impressive zone time for SAWO.
It was great zone time, and they were hungrier on those loose pucks and trying to force those turnovers than we've really seen from them out of this series so far. Quick shot on net from Ekin, just sails wide. But that being said, again, Granit did a good job of keeping them for the most part into the perimeter. The second they tried to sort of get into the middle in those higher percentage scoring areas, it would sort of get snuffed out.
We go down the board. Zobi finds Antonio Manin again below the goal line where he wants to be. Lehman's at the point, has to go right back to him. Shot on from the outside, and Nike is able to make the save. So certainly, Sin, I mean, we saw SAWO looking for one specific type of play there. Granit willing to throw that puck on from odd angles.
Yeah, definitely that kind of led to their advantage in the last two games, too. You think of a couple of those chances. One of the goals that happened was a deflection as well, and they kind of went back to that well a couple times in some follow-up opportunities as well later on in those first two games.
Wenger's pass off the mark. Good outlet pass here. Antonio Manin under 6.5 minutes to play in the opening period of Game 3. Again, Games 3 and 4 covered today, if necessary. 5 through 7 will be covered tomorrow right here at the same time. This puck into the corner here. Good double team pressure. Vatu denied that shooting opportunity. See now Antonio Manin's stretch pass. He was contested for that. Ekin picks it up. Let's see what he can do. The back skate to hold on to it. Draws the trip. And it will be a Granit Gaming power play. Great individual effort from Ekin.
Definitely. I initially thought that might have been a hit right there. It's an odd animation, but that will be Tombu, the captain, going to the box right there for that trip. So a major opportunity here for Granit Game. If they can win this face-off set up, they have a pretty good chance to get the advantage here later in the first period.
Correct me if I'm wrong, not the first time we've seen Tombu take a tripping call in this series so far. Despite the fact, again, we're in the early stages of Game 3. He's been very active with that stick, works out sometimes, but man, other times it can get him into a little bit of trouble. Is Granit Gaming finally breaking through into the offensive zone here on this power play. Puck back down low for Ekin. See where he goes. Finds Furion at the point. Switches with Lehman's shot. Great block there by Wenger. Ekin, though, with the body contact to break it up. Went for the wraparound, and again, just a bit too much contact to get that chance away. Already down to just 20 seconds remaining on the power play. Antonio Manin takes the hit. Ekin there. Back skating to protect. Goes to the point. We're back to 5-on-5. D-to-D one-timer blocked down. Great effort there by Wenger. Furion. See what he can do. Throws one on. And again, it was Wenger getting in front of that. Actually, that one was Moja. It shows the defensive structure, of course, in that SAWO have center in perfect position to help out the defense. What a play, though, here to Vatu. Has a bit of space in front. Yerska's backhand denied. He didn't get all of it. One more rush attempt here for Granit Gaming. Here's Ekin. He holds on to it in front and again off the legs of a defender. And around the boards, 1 second to go. Antonio Manning can't get that shot off in time, and that will do it for the opening period, as we're going to look at another big save from Roysto.
That's an absolutely massive save. Yeah, you know, maybe that shot power wasn't there, but you can see it just getting that toe on it there. He had to slide over for that. That was a good play by SAWO. Finally, you know, able to sort of get some of those chances in that low slot as they want to do. On the flip side, it was a pretty good power play coming out from Granit. They took maybe a little bit too much time trying to get that initial zone entry, but once they had it, I like their mentality. You know, they're kind of working the perimeter, trying to, find the angles, find the gaps on SAWO, and, you know, a couple chances here and there. But the good news about it wasn't so detrimental that it, you know, sucked the momentum out of their sails right there. They were able to, still sustain. SAWO had that pushback towards the end. But this was kind of the thing that we talked about. They have that time and attack, nearly 4 minutes, but only the 2 registered shots. It's not going to be enough. Some of that comes from Granit playing good defense, blocking those shots. Other times from SAWO, you know, always trying to find those kind of higher percentage scoring areas. But once again, winning that opening draw, getting right back to business.
Indeed, a pass in front. Vatu scores! Just 38 seconds into the period. SAWO find the breakthrough. Sin, if I'm not mistaken, this might be their first lead of the series. Huge moment here.
Absolutely massive right there. We talked about it in the pregame. SAWO is going to have to start, you know, strong from every single whistle, every face-off at the beginning of every period. They're going to have to come out strong, try to catch Granit before they can really get set up. That's exactly what they did there. Quick down low, and it kicks back up into the slot, and it's fired home. 1-0 for SAWO early in the second.
Yeah, big moment there again for SAWO. It's a difficult spot to be in as the 2 seed heading into the second day of action, down 0-2. But again, a successful penalty kill towards the end of the first, and they strike early here in the second. Let's see how Granit respond. Antonio Manning throwing one in front, nearly banked it off a leg. Good rebound chance for Ekin, but the defense holds strong. So a nice little response there from Granit Gaming, just not able to find that breakthrough on that occasion. But of course, this game far, far from over as Moja wins that one back in the neutral zone. Wenger tries to gain the zone and finds its way to Yerska. Wanted to go back to the point, and he does. Wenger, Sin, I don't know if he tried to fake the shot initially or if he actually did want to throw it on net. I'm going to guess it's the latter. Honestly, though, I mean, this is a tough spot for him to be in to try to get that shot off.
Yeah, we saw him try a fake shot earlier, which led to some sustained pressure right there. It looked like Antonio tried to sort of bank that in off the goaltender, but it will be SAWO here coming on the counterattack.
Yerska always finding a way to pick up the puck. It's incredible. The pass, though, off the mark, and it will be Granit going down the other way. Ekin can't find that breakthrough. Laminens, what a pass attempt there. Ekin nearly the first one to it. Wenger's pass to Yerska. A bit too much traffic. Furion was there to take it away, and what an outlet pass to Ekin. He's going to have to wait for help. Drives around the back of the net, still in possession here. Kicks back to Furion. Again, Ekin trying to roll out. Look to hit Antonio Manning, who has it now. Puck finds its way back to Furion at the point. DDD one-timer, another block for SAWO. Great effort in terms of blocking these point shots. The puck is knocked loose, and it will find its way to Vatu, and SAWO trying to get things going down the other way. Yerska to Moja, but it was offside. 10:07 to play here in the second period of game number 3.
I really do like Granit's response right here, at least on the offensive side of things. But SAWO, I think, in this game so far is doing a bit of a better job of not being overly aggressive with their wingers, trying to force the turnovers, to force the counterattacks. They got to let them come naturally. Yes, it gives them the perimeter, but they can also have a much better defensive presence. And how many, you know, sticks and legs have we been seeing passes and shots go off of from SAWO, you know, other than, the first 2 games where it seemed like Granit was able to get to the middle with a bit more frequency.
Yeah, battle for the puck here. SAWO will come up with it and will draw the call as well. SAWO going to the power play for the first time in this game. Antonio Manning going to be called for the slash.
Definitely a big opportunity here for SAWO. I mean, Antonio, as far as forwards go, definitely one of the better defensive players. Even on this team, you could argue. So a chance to double up the lead here. This has to be a big kill coming up from Granit.
Here we go around the back of the net. A little bit of trouble. Yurska nearly found Mozia in front. That puck is cleared. So a decent start for Granit here on this penalty kill. Let's see what SAWO can do. Looking to double up this lead. A huge moment there. Again, not a ton of goals scored. Just 6 combined through the first 2 games. And that one sent all the way down. Wenger picks it up. Not too often you'll see a team's defenseman wearing the golden helmet as their team's leading scorer. But that was how strong of a start Wenger had on Monday. Great save there by Roysto. Still 20 seconds to work with. Tombu's shot blocked down by Zobi. Failure attempt. Clearance attempt. It fails. That one bounces over the top of the net. We're back to 5-on-5. SAWO another shot on by Vatu. Here's Yerska. He's not able to hold on to it. Antonio able to get that one out. Sim, we have seen that whether it be a shorthanded situation or not, you fail to get that puck out, it's going to create another opportunity for your opposition.
Yeah, and again, SAWO just really doing a good job of, if they can't get there and bump them, they just try to remain in a lane where they're trying to pass it, or in that case, clear it out, and he was able to keep that one in. Speaking of which, good forecheck by Granit.
Big spin from Antonio, the rocket pass into the slot. A little bit off the mark, no one there. Good shot on there by Ekin, was paddled away. Trouble and scores! Ekin! What an individual effort! Gets to the goal front and knocks one home. We're tied at 1.
Unreal individual effort coming out from Eklund through that initial puck on net. We've seen that from him before. If he feels his team needs a shot on net, he'll just rip it from anywhere. Then he follows it up, bull rushing his way between 2 SAWO defensemen to get in there in tight on the goaltender with 2 defensemen on his back, knocking that one home and tying this game up at 1 late in the second period.
A big moment there. He has been fantastic to start this series. Now he ties this game up. Worst case scenario for SAWO as we have an offside with 1:56 to go here in the second period. A big moment for Ekin. And again, that's the way to beat Nike. It's just you got to drive the net and hope for the best.
Yeah, pucks and bodies to the net. We say that so often. If it's kind of tough to score again, if you're struggling to score, try that strategy out. You're going up against a hot goaltender like obviously Nike is. Try that as well. Granit breaks it out. They get rewarded for it.
Antonio Manning trying to hold on to that one. It is SAWO in possession. 30 seconds to go. Of course, a fast final minute. Let's see if they have time. They do gain the zone momentarily. Puck finds its way to Vatu. He is stopped by Laminins. Antonio Manning, the near turnover. And Laminins will kill the clock. 1-1 at the end of the second period. Although we will get a look here at the first goal again from Vatu. Again, send just 38 seconds into it.
Yeah, just a really good attempt. It was that wrap chance which kicked the puck out front, and Vatu, where he needed to be, trying to find that soft spot, did find it and was able to rifle it home, and that's what opened up the scoring. But again, it was that sort of follow-up chance for Ekin that it was just a marvel. That's what we've seen him do it again all season long. And he does it again there. He just kind of throws the puck on net, and sometimes when you do that, good things happen, but he didn't just wait for it to happen. He drove the net, kept at it, followed his play up. I think that's what he and Laminins do so well, is when they commit to something, when they throw that on net, not necessarily worried about, trying to get back on defense until they have read that play is over. Right there, Ekin sensed that play wasn't quite over. I mean, through 2 defensemen right there. It's pretty ridiculous, just the kind of awareness to do that from him. And it ended up being a goal for them. And if you're SAWO, you maybe kind of hesitate a little bit after that goal. You had the advantage early on, but all of a sudden you're back to a situation where you're in those first 2 games, and you ended up dropping those. So it's going to need a big push from them here in the third period to be able to stave that off. They have yet to score more than 1 goal in a game so far, and if they're unable to do that, especially if maybe overtime gets forced or Granit scores, it's really tough position for them to be in.
Third period underway. Let's see how this one plays out. I'm going to throw it out there right now, Sin, to try and jinx it. Overtime. We've had plenty of them so far here in this postseason. What's one more or several more, judging by who's playing today, as Nike is able to make that stop?
Interesting attempt right there. Laminins and Antonio trying for a quick little jam play on the short side, perhaps trying to bait out Nike from trying to predict the wraparound, sneak that one home, but it didn't quite work out.
The faceoff is won there by Mozia in the defensive zone. Again, SAWO, the opening goal of this game, but they surrender the tying option there. That pass, they score that quickly. It can turn around for SAWO. I said, let's see how they respond. How's that for a response?
Excellent response right there coming out from SAWO. Once again, they don't, they start off the period in a strong way right there. That's dare I say, a bit of a misread on the side of Granit. No one picked up the guy on the back door. It seemed like 3 of them adjusted towards the puck here right there, which did open up a bit of the lane. No one was challenging the man on that back door, which gave him the space to put that one home when the pass got through. And as we've seen so many times, those force passes in that low slot can and will go through.
Second goal of the game for Vatu. Again, we said just 1 registered shot on target through the first 2 games. Great response from him. What a great pass that was from Yurska as well. And here he is down that right-hand side of your screen. Vatu is with him. Furion able to hold that. Again, now a 2-1 lead in favor of SAWO. Here's Antonio Manning, though, for Granit. Try to go down low to Ekin. It was a little bit out of his reach. Furion able to recover this. A little bit of traffic there on that left-hand side, and it leads to them a little bit out of position, not being able to get that cycle going as they would have wanted. Tombu again, that quick out to Yurska. Of course, that's how they just scored a few moments ago. Moja for Wenger. It likes to go back down the boards, and again, nowhere for Yurska to go. 11 minutes to play here. We've talked about the responses. Let's see how Granit respond. Unfortunately, it will be with an offside here. Again, Sin, they do have a 2-0 series lead, but if you drop this game to SAWO, I mean, it gives you the opportunity to really kind of battle back.
Yeah, and if SAWO are able to tie this series up, you could go and argue the advantage is right back in their hand as that top seed as they try to get into that middle once again with a nice bit of saucer pass.
There we go, down low. SAWO, that pass a little bit off the mark. See what happens. What a great stretch pass here. Zekin has the goal from before and might just have set Granit up to get that next goal. Another trip on Tombu against Ekin.
Yeah, and initially I thought that was from the back checker right there, and I was going to kind of have to criticize from poking from behind when you had the man gapping in front, but you're right, that was from Tombu right there. Excellent bit of stick work from Ekin, and they get a power play because of it.
Off the draw, tie up there. Let's see if Ekin can hold it. Finds his way to Furion. Antonio in front for Furion. Ekin on the rebound. He scores. Power play goal for Granit Gaming. We are tied at 2.
Once again, kind of wasting no time. Nice bit of puck and body movement off of kind of an awkward win off of the draw. And it's Ekin once again staying hungry, staying in front of that net, getting the rebound and putting it home on that blocker side. Granit simply will not go away. They're continuing to stick around and show this SAWO team that it's not giving an easy task of eliminating them. And I mean, they're back to tied, a chance once again to take the lead, take the advantage, and put the threat against SAWO of a 3-0 series lead.
Here we go. Let's see again. It's been all about the responses in this particular matchup. What are we going to see next? Here comes Tombu leading the way. Again, the captain in penalty trouble in this game, and it's costing his team. Good job by Vatu there. Yurska's shot blocked down. Again, Vatu and Ekin both with 2 goals apiece in this game so far. So keep an eye out on those two. We'll see if we might have a playoff hat trick, but here's Antonio Manning. Around the back of the net again. Finds Ekin. More time down low. Pass in front. Big stop by Nike. What an opportunity for Zovi. Since it looked like the defender might have just gotten a piece of it to disrupt it.
He might have, but that save is much, much bigger than it may have seemed right there as he got the pad on it, sliding over. That was an incredible chance in the low slot from Granit Gaming, and because of Nike, they do not capitalize on it.
Chance there. Just not what they were looking for, as Tombu finds it around the back of the net. Stretch pass again. I mean, we know the chemistry that Tombu and Yurska have, but it's a risk, big face-off coming up in the SAWO defensive zone.
Yeah, it's a saucer stretch pass that simply didn't quite pan out. And I got to say, SAWO probably one of the teams that uses that slap shot off the boards more than kind of any other team.
Antonio not able to get that shot through. Furion, though, able to find that puck. Gets it back to Antonio. They gain the line as Sovi has it poked away at the last moment. Antonio for Ekin. That one again knocked loose. Here's the Laymanens. That strong hand side, of course, the right defenseman on the left. Ekin, the net drive. And Nike is able to keep it out. What a chance for Ekin. That close to the hat trick.
Granit's finding their momentum. Their passing right now is on point, and it's really starting with those break-in passes. The saucer passes are perfectly timed, and that's what's getting them into the zone.
And there we go. I think I had another shot, just doesn't go through. Final minute and a half of regulation. Boys, you know I was joking when I suggested overtime. As another great shot from Ekin, but a better save by Nike.
Think I heard a little ting of the post as well, so it might have glanced off it after it hit his glove, or I'm not too sure what happened there. Tough to see from that angle, but with a minute left, Granit threatening to get the go-ahead goal.
Tombu has it for SAWO off of the draw. See what happens here now into the attacking zone. It's Moja. Finds Yurska. Tried that shorthand side. Just knocked off the puck. A scramble for it. Ekin comes up with it now. Antonio Mannin has very little help. Tries the move. Tombu able to take it away, but Wenger turns it over. Zovi down low for Antonio Mannin. 32 seconds to play. Ekin trying to drive the short side. Antonio down low. Wraparound scores! With 27 seconds to go, Granit regained the lead.
And what a time to get your first goal of the playoffs. Antonio Mannin on the wraparound once again. Granit making them pay from down low. It was an excellent job from Zovi initially to disrupt the breakout pass, keep it down low, then protect the puck to send it around the boards to Antonio first, who then tried to kick it back up, got possession again, scored through the 5-hole on the wraparound. Granit back out on the attack. They're looking to kill the clock.
20 seconds to play. What a goal from Antonio Mannin. Will it be the winner? One more rush attempt, perhaps, from SAWO. If they fail to score, the 2 seed will trail 0-3 in this series. 5 seconds to go. Granit Gaming 1 win away from pulling off the first round upset.
Absolutely unreal. There's something about Granit. There just is. They came from behind twice, 2 different times, and then took the lead with less than a minute remaining. They seemingly have SAWO's number, and now our 2 seed, the team that was projected by the team captains to be a playoff team around that 5th seed, shocked the league and snagged that 2nd seed and even held first place over H-Reds for a brief amount of time. They are down against Granit Gaming, 3-0. The heroics coming out from Granit, the clutch factor, the ability to rise up in these key moments is currently the difference. I'm besides that, I'm completely at a loss for words, Tugi.
An unbelievable turn of events in a back-and-forth Game 3, but there you see it. Antonio Mannin on the wraparound. It seals the deal. Stunning turn of events for this series. Again, now a 3-0 lead for Granit Gaming. What a game. I mean, it was the battle of Ekin versus Vatu for the vast majority of it. And then out of nowhere, it is Antonio Mannin to save the day. And a look again at the trip by Tombu. And it was close. I mean, there was the incidental contact that kind of caused his stick to, stick, for lack of a better term, to the skate blade. So by the time he hit right bumper, I mean, that was just lined up. There was nothing he could do.
Yeah, that's a really unfortunate play. That's one of those where you wish you didn't get the incidental contact, honestly, because skate blade just kind of going through, the leg, and then you can get that poke off from that different positioning. So what a time to have that kind of happen. But again, SAWO hasn't put this team away. If you don't want to kind of get burned by plays like that, matters of chance, and then them scoring on the ensuing power play, you have to put a team away, and SAWO just hasn't been able to do that. This is the team who had the 3rd most goals in the regular season, and they have scored a total of 4 goals across 3 games. It's simply not going to be enough. Credit where credit's due. Granit's doing a great job of defending. Roysto is making some big saves, but I just haven't seen enough of the urgency from SAWO. We saw it a lot more in this game when they were on the forecheck, really kind of, dig for those Loose pucks, it's just they didn't really. I don't know. I think, games like this happen, but it comes down to those first two games where we didn't see enough of that urgency. Not going to call it casual the way they came in, but maybe expecting to win. And they're learning really quickly. Doesn't matter what seeding you are. If you come into a game expecting to win, you can get shocked. Once again, there is no easy matchup here in the ECL Elite.
An incredible turn of events, to say the least. We will be back after a brief word from our sponsors to set the stage for Game 4 in what could prove to be, I can't believe I'm saying this, what could prove to be the final game of this series. We'll be back in a moment.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Loistava vapauttava syöttö ja sen jälkeen ollaan karkumatkalla. Minkälaisia ratkaisuja tulee? Tämän kaverin nimittäin on ollut todella kylmän viileä näissä paikoissa. Kilven räpylän puolelle kummalle tulee liikkuvat taakse kiekkomaali! Ja Wilhelm jälleen kerran nakkikioskille. Smokey Bites ja Snacks ovat tuoneet hienosti lisää leveyttä Wilhelm joukkueeseen.
So again, a big thank you to our sponsors, of course, at Wilhelm Kovan Lakritsi and ST Hockey for supporting us here with the ECL, of course, ECL 22. An unbelievable season, an unbelievable start to the playoffs here for just our winter season alone. Sid, if this is anything to go off of for what we are in store here, of course, we still have our spring season and the grand final coming up later this year. I don't know what to make of it. We're in for a wild ride this year.
I mean, absolutely. It's we've said it, I think, for the past couple seasons. It's become the mantra here at the ECL Elite. Expect the unexpected. And that's the seed was sort of planted when Färjestad upset Jypi Vaskala in that 1-8 matchup. And that was like, oh, well, that's 1 in a million. I mean, wasn't Jypi Vaskala's out time on attacking him 12 minutes to 3. And it's just those crazy slap passes coming out. And here we are. We're seeing a Granit team that's I wouldn't say necessarily outplaying SAWO, but they're maintaining they're a good matchup against them, and they're scoring those big goals when they need it. And that's really what the difference is. They're hanging around. They're not going away. This is the 2 and 7 seed. I don't really see that big of a skill gap, and that just kind of goes to show you how far and how much parity there is in the elite division now. Just season by season, it keeps getting closer. It keeps getting crazier. This playoff bracket, anything can happen, and well, we're getting a good look at that now.
Again, a reminder, and I don't know if we have the standings, the final standings from the regular season on deck or available to us here. And if we look back at this, and actually, there we go. Again, shout out to our lovely producer there. But Sid, look at that gap between Granite and 7 SAWO in second. I mean, SAWO rightfully earning that second seed. I mean, 15 more goals for, but look at that. 33 fewer goals against. Just an incredible run from SAWO, but no one's really going to remember that. They're more going to remember this playoff failure unless you manage to reverse sweep Granite Gaming, which honestly doesn't seem possible because of just how experienced Granite happens to be. I mean, again, they ended up bringing back certain players into the fold. And while they haven't been playing together consistently now at this stage, it's a very experienced team. They have a lot of experience, playing together at other times. And now I think you're finally starting to see like everything's clicking for them again.
Yeah.
And that is bad news for SAWO.
It's honestly bad news for the elite division. I mean, that's Lehman's back there on the point. It just last season, he was one of the top scoring defensemen, maybe even the top, I believe. And yes, for this team, they started out strong. We're like, oh, watch out for Granite. Then they tapered off. Then we're like, okay, maybe not. Maybe they're still figuring things out. Like you said, what a time to put it together. Here in the postseason, against the 2 seed, who seemingly shocked the world and looked like the new, we said it. We're like, well, maybe we got to start. No more, the big 2's done. We got a big 3 now. Is this now going to become a big 4 with SAWO? But as was the case with Jypi Vaskala, all it takes is kind of one upset, and all of a sudden, you're already being questioned. There were questions coming in. I'd say the questions are mounting right now. And if you're SAWO, you got to be looking inside and questioning, how do you get back in this series against a Granite team who has seemingly flipped your game on its head, threw it back in your face, and is now beating you with it.
There is no way to sugarcoat this or make it sound better than it currently is. SAWO are in gigantic trouble at this stage. They are not the only ones. We have word from our other matchup, of course, that we cannot currently cover. Again, 3 ongoing series. We can only cover 2. As again, boy, that webcam freezing. It's just back from yesterday, isn't it? As we have word that Fariestad have taken a 3-0 series lead on IQ. So, Sin, right now, if this trend continues, we won't have coverage tomorrow. We might not need it. It's up to SAWO here, again, in their road whites to get their first win of this series and make sure that we have some game, at least one game, to cover tomorrow.
Yeah, I would like to do a broadcast. That'd be nice. I want to watch more hockey. So, SAWO, it's time here in those nice road whites. They got to find some way. Everything is up for grabs now. You have nothing to lose. Go for it.
And we saw some flashes of brilliance from SAWO that we came to expect from them in the regular season in that third game. It still wasn't enough. They need to find that extra gear as Tombu's shot blocked down by Zovi. Here comes Zekin, dishes off to Antonio Mannin. Again, the game-winning goal for game number 3 as Zovi dishes to the point. Furion's shot, Tombu able to handle the rebound. Close call there as Antonio Mannin was lurking around, and a rebound there as well, handled by Roysto. Shot scores! The deflection in front. Moja has the opening goal for SAWO. The exact start that they needed, Sin.
Absolutely a hot start, but now they have to build upon it. They did this last game, a couple hot starts to periods. That was beautiful right there. Great net front presence from Moja. The willingness to shoot it from the point. Excellent perimeter work, and then letting it fly before Granit can make the full adjustment and get in those lanes and disrupt the people down low. Great job from SAWO. Really kind of their period so far. Now Granit going to have to see if they can respond as they, have done, especially in that last game. But this is a SAWO team who is now, if they weren't before, absolutely desperate.
Let's see what happens here as the first period continues on. Again, a long way to go in this one, but another great start for SAWO. It is what they needed. Couldn't hold on in that third game. Again, they have to win to survive and at least have a chance heading into tomorrow. And indeed, I'm glad Eki caught that in chat.
Yeah.
The 1T off of the deflection. I saw that too, but I feel like all season long...
I thought my eyes deceived me.
All season long, I've pointed out stuff like that, so I feel like, I'm not going to bother anymore. I mean, the elite edges, whenever someone has a hitting highlight reel, it's just one of those things. Here we go. It is SAWO in their own zone, looking to get things going on the breakout. Here is Yerska. Drops back for Tombu, who needs to stay out of the box in this one, I would say is a fair assessment. That deflection high and wide. That top corner was going to be open. Had the initial shot gotten to its intended target. That shot blocked down. And Sin, we're already seeing it from SAWO. A lot more willingness to just throw pucks on with traffic in front. And here we go. 2-on-1. Down the other way. Yersko and Vatu. And that shot goes wide. Vatu's second attempt banked off the back of the net. Sin, it's so easy for us to say, while we're sitting here not playing, but you do see so often just take shots on goal. I mean, especially too, that's what we saw from Eki so much in the beginning of the season. Just granted, deflections have changed through a patch midway through the game, but we've already seen they're still effective. When in doubt, at least get a puck on net as opposed to just moving it around and having zone time that amounts to nothing. I mean, that time on attack number can be as high as you want it to be. It doesn't matter unless you score.
Absolutely. And we've said that, countless times. And yes, sometimes shooting it does kind of work. And we're seeing it right now from SAWO. Again, I would have liked to see it a bit more in that last one. That can be sort of the issue there. When you have those games split, 2-2 like that, maybe they should have learned that lesson, but they kind of went back to what they're comfortable with. That being said, what a turnover there.
Chance for Yerska, and Vatu was keeping it alive there too. Close call for Granit. That's the one thing SAWO weren't able to do, was establish a multi-goal lead as Ekin banks that one off the side of the goal. Ekin over for Antonio Mannin on the off wing, tried to find Ekin. Wenger was there. Good bit of interference run there by Furion, and Granit will have a chance to get right back into the attacking zone. See if they can. Again, a lot of traffic for SAWO. This is where they want to be in control, as fortunately Ekin still just getting bullied on the right-hand side of the ice.
Granit definitely are finding a lot of tools to be able to get around this the SAWO presence at the blue line. We've seen him go with the dump and chase. I like that right there. Having Antonio grab the puck on his backside, then sending Furion streaking down the left-hand side with speed. Just as you said, unfortunately, Ekin was still recovering from that collision.
Another chance there. Here we go. Final 10 seconds. SAWO trying to keep that back in the attacking zone. Maybe one more chance here for Granit Gaming. Layman its pass off the mark, and that will do it for the opening 20 minutes. A 1-0 lead in favor of SAWO Esports in a must-win game.
It's a good start. They got to keep their foot on the gas pedal. I like you said, the shots coming in from the perimeter, and they were... what's the word? They were more deliberate with it. Other times we've seen them take the shots for the perimeter. It seemed to be the second thing that they want to do. You know, not their first choice, which created a bit of hesitation, which allowed Granit to clog up those shooting lanes, get the shots, and feed a little bit of the counterattack on their own. If SAWO, you know, have come in with that mentality, almost a shoot first more mentality, I think they could find a lot more, you know, shots on net, a lot more good chances. I mean, that deflection goal is great. There's still a lot of those opportunities. Roysto seemingly always making those first saves. You're going to have to get him moving laterally. That's what they did so good there. And that's a play that usually, oftentimes you'll see defensemen shoot back for that far side to try to catch the goalie over sliding, but it was a good read by the defenseman there, realizing he was closer to the middle of the ice, not really on his own side, so the goaltender wouldn't have to slide much. Had he aimed for that far side out of habit, that would likely have been blocked. So just a good job from SAWO. It's the little things, it's the details that's going to really allow them to get back in this series and scratch and claw their way back, and you're going to have to keep on it.
Second period underway, and what a block there by Vatu. That one goes all the way back to the Granit zone. Again, what a pass here, though. Ekin sends out across Antonio Man, and Ekin's there. What an opportunity. They just couldn't seem to shoot it to the right side of the goal in the scramble, as that pass sent across by Wenger. Not able to find its intended target. And again, Granit going down the other way. And an offside call here. Sin, great chance. They kind of caught Nikkei swimming a little bit, just weren't able to find that open side of the goal.
Yeah, fortunately, he swam in the right direction for every one of those. You got to be good to be lucky, lucky to be good. And every time that puck bounced to a new skater, Nikkei was fortuitously in the way of it. I think I counted 3 shots off of bounces or rebounds that Granit, or at least attempts, that they got right there. Nikkei able to turn them all aside. And those are the kind of sequences that we saw from Roysto in the first 2 games, which really kind of kept Granit's momentum in their favor. Those are big saves at the end of the day, whether or not he played them perfectly. He made the save at the end of the day, and that's exactly what's going to help SAWO get back in this series. Now they need to repay him, try to get that insurance marker, and get an advantage that they haven't had, and that's a multi-goal lead.
Again, a big situation, a tough situation for SAWO to find themselves in. I mean, Sin, it wasn't all that long ago, of course, under a different name, that they were coming up from the pro division. You have to wonder, just the high pressure situation. I don't necessarily know if that's getting to them, but it is a very tough spot for them to find themselves in. And of course, we saw it with H-Reds. You have a team on the rise, and you get to the playoffs. It's just an entirely different kind of pressure cooker situation, but it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that they'd be able to get this comeback here. I mean, they still have the lead now, almost through the midway point of the game.
Yeah, and they're seeing it with another team, Vesapampa, who started in the pro, came up, then went back to the pro, and now they're back in the elite. What a shot on net coming out from Ekin. Who else but him from those odd perimeter angles looking for those rebounds? He does that so well.
Moja now trying to hold on to this, finds Vatu, and Yerska was on the doorstep, just couldn't get the puck over to him. No, Vatu knocks this one loose in front, bouncing around, handled, but now Vatu again able to get that one back. We thought Furion was going to release. I thought Furion was going to be able to hold on to that, as it's Tombu at the point. Again, the captain dishes into the slot, nobody home, stretch pass, and a good interception. Now midway through the second, Yerska, that shot on goal. Zovi took it away with a strong poke check. It is Laminate, again, the captain for Granit, running into a brick wall there. Yerska continuing to hound the puck carrier, giving them trouble on the breakout. They try the quick out, it wraps around. Ekin controversially is not going to get the call. It will be icing against Granit.
That's a rough call right there. That's a great play. I'm not too sure if they were looking for that bank around the board. They might have been looking for the angle to get back towards the middle of the net. Either way, Ekin had that race. It's unfortunately didn't get the call.
8 minutes now left in the second period. Time ticking down, and you might be saying, oh, there's still the entire third period to go. That clock can wind down mighty fast when you're trailing as Tombu is able to find that loose puck in the slot. Jurska try to hold on to this one. Sends it down low for Vatu, and again to Wenger at the point. He pinches in. Jurska's shot blocked. Good attempts. Moja for SAWO up to Captain Tombu. Jurska from Moja. Good movement, but again, just a bit too much traffic. Jurska down low. Tried to get it to Vatu. Nobody home. Again, it was a deflection goal for SAWO. Not much really coming to fruition here from the cycling game that Granit obviously has well scouted. You got to throw different looks on. That's where Ekin's found a lot of his success for Granit in this series so far. Vatu has it here. Goes down low. Jurska can't hold on to it. Antonio Manin. Around the back here for Furion. Granit still looking for their first goal of this game. They do have, again, a 3-0 series lead, and they are called offsides here.
They are starting to kind of gather a little bit of momentum here. I'm unfortunately sort of seeing SAWO fall back into their old pattern of looking for the chances, looking for the best chances, rather than just perhaps firing some on. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but they're kind of falling into the trap that we kind of saw Havu fall into last season. Well, this has worked for us. Let's go back to it. Okay, we got an advantage. We can go back to doing what we're used to here. I just worry for them if they continue to do that. Granit can have that chance to come back.
Along the corner, Moja to the point. Wenger to Tombu. It was a real risky pass. Antonio Manin just doesn't have the speed to win that foot race. Final 7 seconds. What an outlet pass, but Furion takes it away. Lehmanen's 3 seconds to go. The shot, the save, and that will do it for the second period. A 1-0 lead, still intact. We're going to look at some of the defensive work here from Vatu SAWO.
Yeah, he's done a great job as we're getting a look at that. That's...
I don't think I've ever seen that one before. That's new.
2 hits in the game. Well, we'll show you this block shot as well. It's great. It's you want to cram in as much information as possible into a tiny couple second sequence, right? To my point, SAWO time on attack 5 minutes. They have the same amount of registered shots that they had at the end of that first. I'm going to bring them up because I feel like we sort of have a privilege now to bring it up after I think they need to shoot. They've still haven't scored a whole heck of a lot. They have just that one goal after the first 2 periods. All it takes is one bounce for Granit. They're right back into it. Yes, SAWO, a much better job of dictating the pace of play, much better job of shutting down Granit, not allowing them to get established, but it can come down to one shot. You don't want that to be your fate, to come down to a bounce, to a shot, to something that doesn't quite go your way here. I think SAWO need to pour the pressure on, take those shots a bit more often.
It is the biggest period of play here for SAWO in their season. It is the last 20 minutes that they are guaranteed. And that statement was almost wrong. Had Vatu perhaps scored there, Roysto with a big stop for Granit.
Absolutely massive stop as Vatu kind of found that puck bounce, standing in a good location, as he often does, the prolific goal scorer that he is. Just unfortunate for him. Great save by Roysto, and remember that one.
The attacking zone here now, unable to hold on to the puck. Let's see what SAWO could do there, and immediately they lose the puck. The commentators curse alive, but it's another offside call here against Granit, and we've seen quite a few of them in this game since.
That's a situation where I think Zovi's got to take the ice right there. He tries to drop pass, which isn't bad, but you need this zone entry. You need some momentum there. I think you just got to wait a little bit longer, or just get that one in deep. Obviously, I like the thought right there, but at the same time, you don't necessarily want to risk those mistakes, which take the puck right out of your hands in a situation where you need to get back into the game.
Vatu head of steam cut off there at the pass by Furion. Puck down low. Lehmanens can't hold on to it. It's Wenger, the right defenseman, in the bottom right-hand corner. Very interesting. Let's see there, a shot off the side of the goal. Jurska, see what he can do. Still battling for it with Furion. There's Vatu now, down low in the corner. Jurska See what he can do. Time ticking off the clock here. Batu, what a shot there for Wenger, and a huge save again by Roysto, who's bailing his team out and keeping them alive in this game right now. Furion now. See what he can do. Antonio Manning. Down low, it is Ekin. 2 goals in the first game of the night. That was game 3, but obviously held off the score sheet so far in this one. Yerska shot. Roysto handles the rebound well. Now Laminance. See what they can do. Good movement, fast movement, but Antonio Manning, again, nowhere to go. Yerska so strong in helping his team protect the blue line. And right now, the patience on display. Great outlet pass from Tom, but Yerska, here's Moshe trying to drag its way through. Wraparound bid doesn't go. Again, Yerska, a bit too much traffic to deal with. Roysto doing his best to keep his team in this one. Granit need to find a breakthrough if they want Thursday off. Is Batu as this one now. Yerska, let's see what he can do. Into the middle from Moshe. Yerska almost had a wide open net to shoot at. Just couldn't find the puck. Moshe one more time. Zovi trying to find his way through. Laminen's nowhere to go. It's been a shutdown performance. Here we go. Numbers perhaps for SAWO. And again, Yerska just can't hold on to it. It's been a pretty solid defensive effort for Granit, but they need that goal. They only have 6 minutes on the clock to find it. And Sin, right now, I'm struggling to remember the last time they had sustained offensive pressure.
I don't think they have really in this period. There's nothing at the blue line, nothing that they're doing. Even their dump and chases aren't quite working anymore. It's just there's no space available. Let's see if they could do it here where they have a bit more men on the rush.
Ekin, nice drop pass. Furion goes back down to him. Ekin. For Laminen's D to D. Back again. Ekin off the legs of a defender in front. Zovi finds Ekin. Now Laminen's 3 minutes to go in regulation of game number 4. A 3-0 series lead for the 7th seed, Granit Gaming. Antonio for Furion. Now Ekin again. The shot, the rebound, and just a big swing and a miss from Zovi. It's Batu now for SAWO. Across for Yerska, doesn't go. Numbers perhaps here for Granit Gaming. It's all or nothing at this stage. SAWO trying to live to see another day. Antonio Manning back for Layman. It's taken away by Tombu. And now it's Yerska going down the other way. Hands it off for Vatu. In the corner, tries to go down low. Furion read that one easily. Zovi for Ekin. Over to his right. Layman can't hold on to it. Tombu can't get that one out. And they finally get it up to Yerska. He has numbers. Vatu with him, stepping in. He'll circle back. 32 seconds on the clock. Held down in the corner. And around the boards, it's Yerska. Tries to go down low again. Great play by Laminens. Antonio now over to Laminens. Ekin, loose puck, still there. Yerska has it. Trying to carry it out. Draws the trip. And with 15 seconds to go, that could very well do it.
I think it is right there, and Granit simply, they couldn't get the sustained pressure, and, you know, throughout the rest of the game for the most part, they tried to get some there, and then it was all desperation, sort of panic mode at the end right there. They simply couldn't hold on to it. I mean, they had numbers on that rush. They had a 3-on-2. They didn't get a shot on net, but still not over. They might have a chance if they could attack.
What they can do, Yerska trying to hold on to it. Final 10 seconds. What can they do? One more chance perhaps for Ekin. He was going for the hip check though, and that will do it. Moja sends it over. SAWO pull off the victory in game 4. 1-0 the final score, which means we will see these two teams in action tomorrow.
And exhale if you're on SAWO. Again, it only took 1 goal for them. I'm a little worried for their goal output, but it was good enough in this game because Nikkei and the defense found what they found the success that they're able to find throughout the course of the season, shut things down. The division, this league shutout leader with 11 in the regular season, gets his first year of the playoffs. 1-0. That's a game where if you're SAWO, it's like, okay, we got the win, but you know, I think there's a few more things that we could sort of clean up, a few more chances that we could put in the back of the net. The time on attack is great. I'm sure we'll get a look at the registered shots. I'm not too sure how many they put on net, but simply in that one, Granit couldn't establish their own attack. The counterattack wasn't there. I mean, almost 8 minutes time on attack, 8 registered shots. It's not too bad, but Granit with those 7 as well, and more often than not, if you're pouring those shots on from decent location, looking for rebounds as well, you have, if the shots are about even, anything could sort of happen. So I still feel like SAWO tempted a little bit of fate, but that's a big win for them. And now they can start their long, long road back to sort of getting back into this series here and being able to capitalize on, well, the seeding that they had. But from this point on, every game is a must-win game. They have no room for mistakes. And Granit is a team that's very, very good at making you pay for your mistakes.
Down 3-0, that right there. The winning goal that keeps SAWO's season alive. Down 3-0, you need to win 4 consecutive games. SAWO are 25% of the way there. A long, long way to go. Incredible goaltending performance and for both goalies as well, making some very clutch stops down the stretch. And, even a shot like that we just kind of witnessed from distance, those are difficult. I mean, you make a slight overcorrection, you can get caught. There were no easy saves in that game.
No, there weren't. I mean, you think back to one of the shots taken from the point. I can't remember if it was Tombu or Wenger that Roysto was like towards the middle of the net. And as you mentioned on the stream, the shot was there. Look at that one. Look at that Zovi swinging and missing on that one. There were so many chances like that for Granit where they could have scored. Think back to that sequence of 3 in-tight chances off the bounces and rebounds that Nike was able to turn aside. And again, kind of got a bit lucky right there. So you think of all those instances. And for SAWO, since you only had that one goal, there's that question that arises: how fortunate were we? And that's what you want to do if you're SAWO, and to get an advantage against this team, you have to take that out of the equation. We saw that perhaps in the last game where they looked good for a lot of times, but they left it up to, well, just one shot can go in. And the situation they found themselves in that game for as well. They got the win. Nike got the shutout. But I think they're going to have to find a bit more goal support if they want to come back and be able to do this reverse sweep.
So with that, again, it is a now 3-1 series lead for Granit Gaming, guaranteed that we will see the conclusion of that series tomorrow. So no matter how long it takes, we will be here for that coverage. We don't yet know, though, if there will be more games tomorrow. Right now, ongoing is game number 4 between IQ and Fariestad. It is IQ down 3-0, but they have a 2-1 lead with 12 minutes to go in the third period as I keep an eye on it. So we have that one ongoing, and of course, coming up on the flip side of our intermission, we'll find out what's going on with our last series. And Fariestad just tied that game at 2 apiece, so maybe go keep an eye on that one. And guess who would have scored? It was Afe. Surprise, surprise, if I'm not mistaken. Taking a look at it. And actually, no, it was Fopatoflin, so there you go. That's Afe's reputation. Havu Gaming and Frölunda, the biggest matchup, the biggest rivalry we have had in this ECL Elite Division, will continue. Again, Frölunda, a 2-0 series lead. We will see if they can do the unthinkable and pull off the sweep. We'll be back in a few moments for the continuation of that series. Stick with us. Again, we'll be right back.